I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome everyone to the Laverne Planning Commission, December 27th, 2022 at 6 p.m. regular meeting. We do have a quorum. First item is to approve the meeting minutes from the November 29th, 2022 regular meeting.
Make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. This time I'm going to pass item number 1 over to council.
All right, I'll take the gavel. So we need to open this up by nominating a chairman for a one-year term. So how we're going to do this is I'll ask for a motion to nominate the chairman and a second on that motion, and then we'll take a yes or no vote on the election. So I'll open up with, the floor is open now for nomination.
Nominate Earl Garvin for chairman.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir.
We have a second. So we'll do a yes or no vote to nominate Earl Garvin for a one-year term, beginning with Mr. Coleman.
Yes.
Mr. Coates?
Aye.
Mayor Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Garvin?
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas?
Aye.
Mr. Heisman?
Yes.
Mr. Molinar?
Aye.
The ayes have it, and I'll pass the gavel back to you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. Item number 2 is a motion to nominate and elect vice chairman for a one-year term. We will open the floor for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Mayor Jason Cole to be vice chair.
A second. Should we do a roll call on this as well, sir?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Coleman?
Yes. Aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes. And item number 3, motion to nominate and elect a secretary for a one-year term.
Nominate Graham Coates for secretary.
I second that. Mr. Coleman?
Aye.
Mr. Coates?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for your service. So we will open up with item number 4, which is deferred. Is that correct, Mr. Logan?
Yes, sir, that's right.
So we will move on to item number 5. Concept plan, Woodland Hills remaining land, 85 lots on 48.05 acres, requested by SEC Inc. Property located off Woodland Hills Drive, tax map 29, parcel 23 and 23.01, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Bob Parks. Mr. Logan.
So this request is for concept plan approval, and this is the remaining land of Woodland Hills subdivision. And they are proposing 85 lots on approximately 48 acres. So you can see on the screen, this sort of reverse C is sort of the shape there of the property. And zooming in, you can see this property lies next to Interstate 24, and so that's been the subject of some discussions the last couple months. But you can see it's a heavily wooded parcel of land, and this is the zoning map. This brick red color is R2 medium density residential, and that's the zoning for this parcel. So this is the old plan, and I kept that on there to show the lots when they were closer to I-24, especially in this area here on the screen. And that was about a month ago or 6 weeks, and now the applicant submitted a newer plan, and they made some changes there along I-24 to those lots. And they spaced them out differently and added a buffer there. As you can see, there's 2 streets that tie into the new section 1, approximately this location, and then coming on down a little south and east of there is the second street that'll tie in. And then this is, again, the close-up view of the latest plan submitted with the changes to those lots. This has not changed since 2 weeks ago at the workshop, in case you're wondering. These are pictures that show each of the stub-out streets. So these are existing conditions. You can see, again, heavily wooded, lots of trees, and several, I guess, folks taking the liberty to put their basketball courts there, or basketball goals, which I see in every community I go to, so that's pretty common. But anyway, there's another view of the trees and the area that'll be developed. So there were no comments 2 weeks ago, no technical comments by staff, and we're still the same tonight. And that completes the report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions or comments from the board for the developer?
With everything being addressed, I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. On to the first item of new business. Recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, rezoning of property requested by SEC Inc., 4.3 acres, property located at 237 and 245 Cheney Boulevard, tax map 28, parcel 10 and 11, current zoning district, A agricultural zoning district, proposed zoning district, R3 high-density residential zoning district, property owned by Joe Boner. Mr. Logan.
So this request for rezoning is on Cheney Boulevard, and currently, this property is zoned agricultural. You can see here on the screen, it's on the east side of Cheney Boulevard. And zooming in here, you can see, so it is located between Cheney and Summit. And this area currently has 2 dwellings located on it. And we'll see pictures of those in just a moment. This zoning here, you can see it's agricultural again. And then Summit Drive to the east or to the rear is zoned R2, medium density, and that R2 goes all the way down to the intersection with Cheney. Then north of this is a large area of high-density residential, which is R3, and that extends quite a ways toward the 3-way intersection with Old Nashville Highway. And then there is some more agricultural land that's undeveloped that lies directly across the street, across Cheney from this location. So this was here last May of this year, so these are some of the photos from May. And then this is a couple weeks ago, or 3, so you get to see it in both seasons. And again, here's a shot from Cheney in May. It's amazing how much is covered up, and you really can't tell with all the vegetation. Can't tell exactly what's on the property. This is, again, looking up Cheney, so this is north, going all the way toward that 3-way stop at Old Nashville. And then this is another view that shows the dwelling. So there's a home there, looks like typical, maybe double wide. And then there is a mobile home that you probably saw back in this photo. So this is 4.3 acres, and they're requesting to rezone from agricultural to high-density residential. And on the screen, they've submitted a concept plan that would give you an idea, a rough idea of what the property would look like. It's approximately 50 townhomes on the screen, and you can see at least one of the concepts for looks like 2 access points off of Cheney would be included. Of course, the fine details will come later at site plan stage if this property is successfully rezoned. I think that they did submit this exhibit that just shows the 2 dwellings currently on the survey. And there's no technical items from staff, and that completes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions or comments in regards to this item? No questions. We will be asking for a favorable or unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
Make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen.
We have a motion for a favorable recommendation. Do we have a second? I'll second that. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No.
All opposed?
No.
No, Mr. Coates? No from Mr. Coates. Motion passes. We will be sending a favorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Next item, item number 7. Recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, rezoning of property requested by SEC Inc., 11.32 acres, property located at Wheeler Street and Jefferson Pike, Tax map 18K, Group A, Parcel 6. Current zoning district, I-1 Light Industrial Zoning District. Proposed zoning district, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District. Property owned by 84 Lumber. Mr. Logan.
So this request is to rezone property to I-2, which is heavy industrial, and currently the property is zoned I-1, which is light industrial. And the 84 lumber facility is near the center of the screen here, so this property is basically south of the existing 84 lumber property. And zooming in, you can see this is an underground gas pipeline, so that's what this easement is, where they keep it clear and keep all the trees cut. So that's the easement running through, and it runs through a significant portion of this property they're wanting to rezone also. So the existing facility for 84 lumber is the darker blue, which is I-2, and of course, below that, as mentioned, it's I-1, so this would make the zoning match for both of their properties, and they would both be I-2. There is a mixture of zoning in the area. There's R2 to the south, and then there's some R1 scattered, although there's no R1 directly touching this property. And then to the east is a large area on Wheeler Street, of course, is also zoned I-1. And these are some photos that show Wheeler Street and the wooded area behind, which is this parcel that's asking to rezone. And this is one of the exhibits submitted by the applicant. They are showing 50-foot wide buffers. These are transitional buffers that are required by the zoning ordinance. So they are showing those between any residential areas and the I-2 property. And there's no comments, no staff comments or technical items, so that completes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions or comments for staff on this item?
I'd just like to say that, just for the record, that I do own a piece of property on Wheeler Street. And it's not next to the property, but it's close to it, so make sure people are aware of that. My concerns with this is the access of getting the trucks, the tractor trailers with the homes or the wood on board out of the area. It's a very poor area. We have lots of issues with the junction of Jefferson Pike and Merceborough Road. Although from what we understand, TDOT is working on that junction. At the present time, the amount of tractor trailers coming out of the area is a very large amount, and putting in this additional zoning would increase that capacity, and I don't think it's a good idea for that street without improvements or other access ways out of the property.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions or comments? Once again, we will be taking a favorable or non-favorable recommendation for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in the motion.
Make a motion for an unfavorable recommendation.
We have a motion for unfavorable recommendation. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We will be sending an unfavorable recommendation on this item to Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Next item. Site plan, High Point 24, Lot 2, requested by Kimley Horn. 3 buildings totaling 540,192 square feet on 143.04 acres. Property located on Blair Road, tax map 29, parcel 19.14, 20, and 20.03. I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by High Point 24 Phase 1 LLC. Mr. Logan.
This is a request for site plan approval at the High Point 24 development. And this is just for Lot 2. You can see the property on the screen. And this is on Blair Road. So this is Sam Ridley Parkway here coming off of I-24. And when you drive that way, you take the right and then proceed north. And this development's on your right. With the new building there next to Blair, it's hard to miss it. It's some very large buildings. It is about 540,000 square feet, and that just is on Lot 2 alone. That would not count the building that's sitting close to the road. Total at build-out, there's 7 buildings that are planned and about 1.1 million square feet of distribution space. And the smallest building on this plan is about 151,000 square feet, and the largest building is about 255,000 square feet. So zooming in there, you can see the location of the building next to Blair, and then all the site work that was being done when this image was taken. And so it moves at such a pace that the imagery can't even keep up with how fast things are happening on the ground. So you only get a snapshot in time. It really doesn't give you the full story. But if you've been out there, you've seen this developer's gone to great length to direct truck traffic back to I-24 when exiting the site, and they put up a lot of signage for that. It's in some of the photos. This is a strange shaped parcel, and Lot 1, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, but Lot 1 wraps around and kind of has this narrow part, like a neck, that runs along I-24, and then it opens out again. And then in the middle of that is this lot, which is Lot 2, and these 3 buildings that are covered with Lot 2. So these are some photos of the property. These are the buildings on Lot 1 that are finished. And you can see what they look like. This is submitted by the applicant in the plans. And again, the sort of the red shaded area is not part of this lot number 2. It's all part of Lot 1. So we're just talking about these 3 buildings here in the center for tonight. The internal road, some of you all have seen it, and that was put in by the developer. So that's the internal road that's servicing all these buildings. And this is another view of the site plan that shows the Lot 1 and Lot 2 layout. This plan tonight does show 581 parking spaces, and 271 would satisfy the city's requirement. So 271 required, but they have 581, so there's plenty of parking. And there's just a closer view of their site plan. I believe that's the last slide. Yeah. And there's no technical items, so that completes the report. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions or comments on this item?
All the technical items have been addressed, and I appreciate the engineering group worked with us on the questions and answers that we proposed, and they did do that. With that, I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item number 9. Amendment to site plan, 290 Tech Park Industrial. Modification to site requested by former Lucas, property located at 290 Tech Park Drive, tax map 29, parcel 5.12, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by 5 Star Investment LP. Mr. Logan.
This is the request for site plan approval at 290 Tech Park Industrial. And this site is located on Tech Park Drive, and it's the last remaining open lot, last remaining vacant lot on this road. So it's on the west side of the road and not far north of the intersection with Industrial and Mason. So this lot, this project was here in July of this year, so not that long ago. They've made some changes, and they've reduced the parking, and they've also reduced the amount of asphalt and paving, so they've made some site changes and also some changes to the way that stormwater is directed. So that was discussed 2 weeks ago at the workshop. But this is the zoning map, so you can see this entire area is the dark blue, which is I-2 Industrial. And these are some photos from when the property was here in July. So there are street trees. They've been planted for some time next to the road, and other than that, it's just a flat vacant lot that's already been graded for development. So this is the plan that's current tonight. And you can see, as was discussed 2 weeks ago at workshop, these parking spaces were lined up on both sides of the aisle here, and those have been removed since July's plan. They've also reconfigured this pavement and taken some of it out, and they've reduced the number of truck bays, I think by 2 since July. And they've made some stormwater changes as well that I mentioned. So this is, you can kind of see, that's the old plan. So if you watch in this area here at the top, you can see especially how they've reduced. So that was July, and that's tonight. And then you can see the truck bays were quite a bit more in July, and you can see they reduce tonight. So that's just some of the changes that they've made, and that's the reasons that they had to return to the Planning Commission. The fee in lieu for the project has not changed since July. It's still, in your report, it's still listed as $26,940, so that's unchanged since July. This is based on the frontage, which of course is not changing at the road. So that completes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there a representative here for this project? If you would state your name and address for the record, kind sir.
Yes, Josh Hutchison, Fulmer Lucas, 2002 Richard Jones Road,
Thank you.
Nashville.
Thank you, sir. My only question was, since we downsized the parking lot, did we make accommodations for the fire department?
Yes, the accommodations for the fire department have not changed since the original plan, which just to refresh everybody's memory, there was some discussion about having an access road around the backside of the building due to topo. That just can't happen. And in dealing with the fire marshal during the original review, we agreed to put standpipes and man ladders around the side and the rear of the building, and that has not changed.
Very good. Does anyone have any other questions or comments?
You took my question, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
So with that said, with the, including in the $26,940 for the fee in lieu of, I'll make a motion to accept with that fee in lieu.
We have a motion to accept. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Item number 10, recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen adopt the new zoning ordinance and zoning map. Mr. Logan.
I did receive just a few minor changes from Mr. Coates. So I'll be sending those to Melissa at Folkert. Other than that, I haven't received any comments about the ordinance.
Just to the rest of the board, there was just typographical, nothing substantive. It was just misspelling and some commas and some other sort of minor items, but nothing to do with any structure of the document itself.
So can we proceed forward, or those changes need to be addressed? I'll point that direction at council.
I think we can proceed forward. If everybody's in agreement that those changes were just facial.
I would agree that if they're not changing the content, it's just grammar and spelling, that we would be able to move forward.
Agreed. With that, we will be making a recommendation for favorable or unfavorable to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Is that correct, Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, after almost over a year of working on this document and a lot of time and effort put in, which I'm sure that the board's done a great job, and with that, I'll make a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the Mayor and Aldermen.
And we have a motion to send a favorable recommendation. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Item number 11. We're very happy about that. We've been working on that very hard and for a long time. So, item number 11, bonds, letters of credit update. Mr. Brown.
Mr. Chairman, the bond list is up to date. Everyone should have a copy in front of them. Chelsea Estates Phase 2 and Carruthers Crossing Phase 1 both expire in January. Both of them are going to extend a letter of credit. They both already agreed to do that, so they're in the process of working on that. And that should be it.
Very good, thank you, sir. And I believe Mr. Logan has an announcement.
Yes,
training
I
dates?
just, thanks. I meant to do this, but the elections tonight sort of got in the way. So the training, some of the new members may not know, but the state of Tennessee requires all planning commissions and BOZs to have at least 4 hours of training per year. And so, historically, Laverne has always done that in the wintertime, almost always in February. So we looked at some dates. We don't ever put the Valentine's weekend or the weekend that falls closest to Valentine's in the mix. So we took it out, and basically that left February 25th. So I've checked with Evan's office, and it's pertinent that they be there. They conduct about half of the training, give or take. So February 25th is the date that suited all the parties. So I just want to make sure I got that announced tonight, and I'll be sending out emails. It generally starts at 8 in the morning and goes till 12. Lunch is provided. There are some light breakfast. Of course, there's always bottled water and drinks. But it's 8 a.m. to noon, and it's more details to follow, but since we have some newcomers, it's always up the road in the Stormwater and Codes building. So it's not here at City Hall, but we'll get the details on the directions.
Very good,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. With that, I'd like to thank everyone for their time and service, and please have a wonderful new year. Meeting adjourned.